I'm just curious, has the library helped you because you talked about how you want people to overcome whatever's like an obstacle. Has the library done that for you?
Yeah, I mean, by providing me that outlet where I could have impact on my community. I mean, that's something, to me, I've always wanted to help others, you know, and I can't think of any organization where I would have the chances that I've had here at the library to make those inroads in the community, to have that impact, to make lives better. I I can't think of a higher calling than that.
Welcome to the Rockford Public Library podcast, where we highlight the people and stories shaping the library's future. I'm your host, Bridget Finn, and in this episode, I'm excited to introduce listeners to the Rockford Public Library's new Executive Director, Anthony Cortez. Anthony is a lifelong Rockfordian with deep roots in the community and a long-standing commitment to public service. Before stepping into the library's top leadership role, he served the city of Rockford in its finance department and later brought that expertise to RPL as both the director of finance and director of IT. That combination of experience should make for a smooth transition and a powerful foundation for what's to come. In our conversation, Anthony, or Tony as he's commonly known, shares how he's driven by the opportunity to make meaningful community impact. He believes that when both staff and customers feel a genuine sense of belonging, it shapes everything, from our culture to our service and ultimately our success as a library. Let's dive in. Tell us about your journey that led you to Rockford Public Library.
Sure. So I started my career really in earnest at the city of Rockford. I did about 9 years there, transitioning from an accountant to a water billing analyst and the water billing and receiving service area co-supervisor. Really had library wasn't on my radar. It's something I enjoyed as a kid. It's something I used in college extensively, but I didn't realize, that's a place I should think of for a career. And then the library's then finance director retired, and she had worked with me in my role at the city and sent her job description over, or posting for her position, and I was like, why did I ever think of this? It's like a perfect fit. So I went ahead and applied for it, and the rest is history.
So what did you see in the job description that made you think it was a perfect fit?
So it wasn't so much the job description, because the finance role is the finance role, and I understand that role. It was about the organization. Because in my role at the city, I did have some public exposure, but it was very transactional. And I wanted something where I could have greater impact in my community. Because I love Rockford. I'm a lifetime Rockfordian. And I really wanted to have that ability to help others that I didn't feel I necessarily had in the roles that I was doing at the time. So that was really the driver for me. And in fact, when I interviewed for the position with Lynn, one of my questions to her was, do you want somebody who's really going to be part of the team, or do you just want a bean counter who's going to stay in the corner and count the books? And she's like, no, I want somebody who's part of the team. So that's how I knew it was going to be a good fit.
Okay. And that, growing up in Rockford, I love that you grew up in Rockford, and I love that you love Rockford. There's a lot of people, who grew up in Rockford that really want to leave. So what about Rockford do you love?
So for me, there's a lot of just potential with Rockford. There's a deep, rich history in Rockford. And I get what you're saying. I mean, a lot of my classmates from high school are gone. They've left the community. But what I've really enjoyed in the time that I've been particularly working and being in the downtown is the resurgence. And that energy that I feel, that was a latent energy that's now becoming an evident energy as downtown blossoms and we have all these businesses and people living downtown again. Like compared to 2007, it's night and day.
It's night and day in that it's developing and more exciting now?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you. I am curious as to the role you played with the city before you were with the library, and you're being kind of a finance guy. If the skills you used in those positions are going to help you in your position as the executive director of Rockford Public Library?
Sure. So a big part of finance, in my estimation, is you have that insight into the rest of the organization by nature of the role, especially the role here as finance director. So that gives you insight into all the different departments, what they're doing, what they're spending money on. And what you spend money on is what you value. And so over time, as you're working with these people in these departments and you're asking, well, why are we spending on this? Why are we spending on that? You're learning the reasoning that those departments operate with. And the entirety of my tenure at the library, working in IT as well over here, has just given me even more depth of understanding of what we offer, what it takes to offer that, and really consider how can we continue to do this sustainably into the future. That's been a big part of my role as finance director, is sustaining the library, because this is a valued institution that we need to preserve. And the nice thing about executing those roles at Rockford Public Library under an executive director like Lynn Stainbrook is that she did not hold me to those roles 100%. I had freedom with her where, when we moved to our interim building and we were going to have this concept of a maker lab, which I helped push, and was like, this is just another way of sharing information. Instead of getting it from a book, you're getting it hands-on. And this creative, collaborative process that really belongs in the library, in my estimation, there was the opportunity to say, well, who's going to manage the person who's running that? And I went into her office and I said, I know this is totally off the wall, but can I manage that person? Can I still maintain contact in this public service area? And she's like, well, we've already assigned somebody, but yeah, go talk to them. And if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. And I did. And they were like, yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do here anyway, so go ahead. And that I took it and I ran with it. And what I loved about that is seeing people come in and experience something for the first time and how they enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And also listening to their feedback for how we can grow it, because that's the line to walk with maker spaces. Is here's something I've never seen before, providing enough new stuff that they're intrigued and want to come in and learn about it, but also kind of walking the line of not overly putting things into the space so that there is room when enough people are coming in and saying, hey, we'd like to do this in the library, that you can grow in that direction and hear the voice of the customer, as they call it.
Right. So what I hear you saying is, Lynn welcomed you to kind of step out of your traditional role to really be a part of one way that we at the library serve the public, which is this online learning center that we kind of threw it out as an idea in the interim library and have found what worked, and you have enjoyed not only being part of the public-facing part of the library, but also seeing how the public shapes where we invest our energy as far as our offerings.
Right.
And I love that about Lynn Stainbrook as well. I think the library is a great place to work because not only are we doing our jobs, but we are welcome to learn really in any areas where we're interested. And if you're someone who is energized by making a difference in your community, I mean, there's no better place to work.
Absolutely. And that's something of her that I want to carry on in my role as executive director. I want to carry that spirit forward.
To welcome staff to, be creative and explore ways we can grow.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. Another interesting thing that you have implemented from where I sit in the library as the marketing director is our using data to make our decisions as far as where we are investing energy, be that financial or time energy. That was a real new change, and I assumed it was a factor of your being our IT director. But at one point, years ago, we started to really track and look at data rather than, what we seemed to be successful or way we should go. We looked at the data to make sure it was true.
Right.
And
so that's, it's important that when we're an institution like we are trying to make an impact in the community, that we're measuring that impact and we're showing that we're effective in that impact. It's one thing to kind of put out there what you know and what's relevant to you, but it's got to be what's relevant to the community as well. And so really, how can we, number one, get out there and understand the needs of the community better? And that's something that I also want to make a big hallmark of my executive directorship. And also then provide services and resources that fill those needs, and that in a way that's measurable. That's in a way we got to get better at collecting our stories, because just in the time I've been here, which is about 10 years now, there have been so many lives touched, and I don't think that people know about it. Like, I know about the ones that pertain to the Maker Lab. I've heard of some things that have happened because somebody had a great experience at circulation even. You name the department, there are stories, there are lives touched there, and we got to get better at capturing those vignettes and sharing those.
That's interesting. That's a great thing to aspire to. I also noticed the modernization that has happened at Rockford Public Library since we became a truly data-driven operation. So it's the stories and those anecdotal evidence of us making impact is really valuable, and it touches hearts and minds, and that's wonderful. But to see how many feet walk through the door every day and how many people are using the library and which aspects of our services are being utilized, that's the bottom line. And that was growth on our part. And
Right. And one of the things that I've really pushed for, and I'm going to continue to drive, is that a lot of times data flows one direction in organizations. It just goes to the leadership, and then it's never heard from or seen again. And what I really like to emphasize is putting the data back out to everybody who's generating it, so they can see the results of their efforts and they can interact with it. And maybe, over time, as we spend more time training and learning on how to look at data and what are some of the common pitfalls with data, the fun correlation does not prove causation and all that. So having access to the data and making sure that data flows both upwards to leadership, but also back downwards to the staff who generate that data as part of their day-to-day work, so that they get to interact with it. They get to see, how does what I'm doing move the library forward, and are there tweaks I can make with the data that I generate, how I do programs, how I do my events, that will improve how the library overall is received.
I love that, because I think that everyone who works here wants us to be the best library it can be. I think everyone who works here feels the upswing of the library since we got our new main operational and opened, and it's an exciting place to work. We're doing all exciting new things for our community. So I think that showing everyone the data can do nothing but help us all moving in the right direction. And that kind of leads me to the idea of what you think as far as a vision for Rockford Public Library. What's your vision? I know that's like very overarching grand question.
Sure. So vision, for me, there's a lot of layers. There's a short-term vision, there's long-term vision. One of the most important things I want to convey is my vision for the library incorporates the visions of others. So our board of trustees shape what the library is doing in the community, and they do that by hearing from the community. I'm a conduit for that. And then our staff's vision for how the library can be more effective and reach more people is part of my vision. Basically, I want to incorporate the needs of the community and how our staff see that we can best meet those needs into my vision as well. It's a collaborative vision.
Okay, I love that. So you are, as the executive director, interested in forming and voicing a vision for this library that's actually reflective of the trustees, of the staff, and of the community as a whole. Correct. But do you have personal ideas of vision changes that you would like to see happen?
I would say, these last years, a lot of the library's energy has been focused inwardly as we go through these interim spaces and we design this space and we build this space. And now we've got that all out there and we're activating these spaces more and more. It's time for that energy to go outward into the community and really meet people where they are. The library has this connotation of where you go to consume content. And I really see that pushing that envelope of it's also where you go to create content. And so you're part of this content continuum. And just the communal aspect, people coming together and speaking face to face, for me, is a big deal, because when it's all online and there's no accountability, that's when it gets really ugly.
Right.
And our society just needs more people talking to each other face to face.
I think you're right. I think that we saw that just as a nation over COVID, that we thought that the social media aspect would really give us a sense of community, but it's a false sense of community.
Yes.
That's where echo chambers are created.
Yep.
And having the library as the true third space in Rockford, where everyone is welcome, to either meet face to face or, Tony, I think there's value in working independently, but among other citizens of Rockford who are working independently.
Yeah. One of the things I also like to talk about and think about is this concept of community as a collection. The people that we have in our community are resources. They're pieces of information as well as human beings that we can interact with and learn from. And the library provides a space where that can happen organically. A lot of times when you're in other spaces like the grocery store or something else, you're there for a specific purpose and you're on a timeline. You want to do the thing and get out. Whereas the library is still one of those places where you go with like maybe a little fluff built in to I'm just going to hang around, browse, see what's going on. And you might actually get caught up into an interesting conversation with somebody that you might otherwise never have interacted with. And
Right.
that's one of the powers of the library.
That's so true. I love that. I love that. I love the commonality that we provide here, and I love that, when I'm asked casually what we do here at the library, my standard response is we make living in Rockford better, just across the board. Whether you want to entertain yourself, we certainly have the opportunities for you to culturally enrich yourself. And, the education kind of goes without saying. But, also just learning about this community, how to live and work within this community. And everybody can be here at the same time. Like you said, getting to know each other. That's a part of the magic of what we offer here.
Absolutely.
What do you think about? It's a concern for all of our nation, but certainly in our community, is the digital divide. So many of us rely on internet and digital access to live our lives every day, and then there's a sadly significant chunk of our population that do not have access to the internet the way we do and don't know how to utilize it to make living their lives better. Do you see the library as the agency that would help in this?
Absolutely. I mean, we're already attacking this with our Chromebooks and hotspots that we provide for checkout. And we've seen that really uptick as people have realized that, I can get things besides books at the library. And we were lucky to have a partner in Sci-Fi who helped provide us that digital DigiLibrary, the small van that goes out in the community with Chromebooks and internet access to just provide digital literacy. That's another way that we're attacking that problem. And we're also part of a group of organizations in the community that's working with Comcast to really address and pretty much stamp out digital divide as much as we can.
That's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of that. So the DigiLibrary is the most recent addition to the library's fleet of vehicles, and it goes out with, is it 36 Chromebooks or more?
About 36.
And provides basic digital education and not so basic digital education, depending on the needs of the stop, but meeting people where they are out into the community.
Right. And that can be anything from, very simple, how do I interact with a computer device, which we have some of that we have to deal with in our community, to I need to access resources, and I need a computer to do that because more and more the resources that help people in the community have moved digitally. So it's kind of left some people behind. And then just if you want even help writing a resume so you can go get that next job. So there's a lot of different layers of how that digital divide can be addressed.
Right. Well, I'm glad that we're a part of that and on the front lines in our community of helping people to get shored up and using those resources. What do you think about our fleet of vehicles? is that that's something that's really come about since you've been here at the library, since I've been here at the library. What's your feeling? Are you excited about it?
I'm really excited about it. A while back, kind of led the trial on that whole thing. I took our old van out to different events in the community and talked about our resources, and was able to get a lot of people signed up for library cards and get people aware of what the library has to offer, which is a constant struggle because we have so much. And that really opened my eyes to the need. And I think when I presented my report of the final results to our board, they saw the need as well. And that's how we rolled that first mobile library, which was really great and is helping us get out there. One of the things I've heard repeatedly in my time at the library, being in the community, is that transportation's a barrier. So if you can't get to a library, then you're kind of, oh, well, that's it. You don't get to go. And the mobiles address that need directly because we can bring the library to the people. We did expand with the DigiLibrary, and I believe we're going to be expanding again in the future so that we can get even further into neighborhoods, and that's our goal.
That's really exciting. What does the data show? Are we reaching people that have not formally used the library?
Yes, we are, because we're getting into neighborhoods that, again, there's just transportation's an issue, or maybe another thing we deal with is people think, oh, libraries, books, I don't need to go to the library. But then when they see the DigiLibrary or the mobile library, and they see all the things that we have here, like the Maker Lab, like a recording studio, and all the different events that we got going on, it totally opens their eyes, and they decide that, yeah, the library does need to be a part of my life after all.
I love that. And I think that that's so valuable, the belonging sense. I think there's a number of agencies, that whether it's the Art Museum or us here at the library, where people might feel like they don't belong because we're cultural, we're educational, we're a literacy-rich environment. That's really, we have data that shows how healthy it is for developing minds, for our kids to be in literacy-rich environments, but it might turn some adults off. But for them to realize that there's any number of things they could do here at the library.
Absolutely.
It's all designed to help them live better in Rockford.
Right, and that's the best part about the library as well. One of the best parts, there's so many. But that there is no, you have to interact with us this way. It's at your pace, it's what you're comfortable with, and that can grow over time. Nobody's forcing you to use the library in a certain way. And, one of the things that we're also engaged with that means so much to me is our adult online high school and how we're helping people achieve a high school diploma. We're changing lives.
We are changing lives. As Tony is talking about our Rockford Public Library's adult online high school, we've had over 150 adults attain their high school diplomas later in life. That's a really exciting program that we can see the fruits of our labors just in changed lives every June at these graduations.
The graduations are my favorite part. I've told everyone I can, get to one of these graduations, because just the amount of energy and outpouring of love and gratitude for the graduates and for the library and these people whose lives can have a sense of renewal and forward momentum is huge.
I agree. I love that piece too. That's been a pleasure to work on. It's been a pleasure to work on it with you.
Likewise.
Beautiful. So what other things do you think the library, what other roles do you think the library could serve for people in Rockford that they're not really aware of?
So a convener, again, getting people together and talking to each other. Face-to-face interaction, it's huge for me, and we can get involved with bringing partners into neighborhoods to really make coming together more enticing, because a lot of neighbors and neighborhoods have, again, drawn into that digital community and kind of exited their, what I call geographic, for lack of a better term, community, the people they actually live next to. And neighborhoods can only get better as people talk to each other.
That's true. That's interesting. Another thing that I love personally about working here is the amount of opportunities there are to partner with other agencies who are striving to make Rockford better. And I know that we always seek to know what's going on in our community so that we don't duplicate efforts, so that we are trying to solve problems and overcome obstacles in an efficient manner. I know that right now we're working with United Way to, really kind of reach developing minds at the age of 0 to 3 years old,
Sure.
Which I think is beautiful.
Absolutely.
But I also think that libraries traditionally play big roles in public school systems and communities. And what is your vision for maybe doing some of that in the future?
Well, I think there's a lot that we can do to support the school district and providing library services and access to those children and their families. And as part of our interaction, we can support on our side that engagement, parent engagement with the schools, and really taking an active role in their children and their attendance, and their helping with their homework, getting them into the library to help with homework. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things that we can do to support our schools and help the kids.
Okay. So what do you see as your challenges? What will be your challenges in serving the community that we have in front of us? Do you see concerns?
As far as the challenges, is just, again, we've spent a lot of time inward focused. It's getting out there, hearing everybody's what are the needs for information and connectivity, hearing what people are going through. A lot of what our role is connecting people to information, and so in order to do that, you got to know what they're going through. So that's part of it, is getting out there and hearing what everybody's going through, and then looking internally at what we have to offer, looking externally at partners, and saying, how can we put something together that's going to serve the need of this community?
Do you have any idea how we're gonna get out there?
I'm going to be getting out there. I'm going to be spending a lot of time with different groups in the community.
Right.
Any group that's out there that wants to talk to me, hit me up.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I want to definitely be a responsive library.
Beautiful. That's good. All right. So, personally, Tony, what are you most excited about?
Just this opportunity that I have, that I feel is like a one in a lifetime chance to be able to go and have so much impact and help so many people in our community, as well as our staff, because my goal is for our staff to be wildly successful. When our staff are wildly successful, our community benefits. And so I want to see our staff develop and grow and pursue their passions and pursue their careers, and have that opportunity to, be a value adder to this community.
And work in the best library that we could possibly have.
Absolutely, that's the goal.
Sounds like a pretty fun place to work to me. Do you have a message for the community?
My message to the community is, if you want different in your life, if there's something that's just not where you want it to be, and you don't know how to go about getting where you do want to be, come to the library. We have tons of resources across any spectrum of different interests and lifestyles and anything. And you can find that information and get moving on that path. If you don't have someone you can turn to, if you don't have that support mechanism at home, come to the library. We can be that support mechanism. We can help you to move your life forward in a way that makes you feel like you can have ownership of what goes on, and that you happen to the world.
I love that. That's great.
I'm just curious, has the library helped you because you talked about how you want people to overcome whatever's like an obstacle. Has the library done that for you?
Yeah, I mean, by providing me that outlet where I could have impact on my community. I mean, that's something, to me, I've always wanted to help others, and I can't think of any organization where I would have the chances that I've had here at the library to make those inroads in the community, to have that impact, to make lives better. I can't think of a higher calling than that.
Is there anything else that we want to cover?
Unless there's something else that you'd want to share that you think we didn't share.
Yeah, that question is for you too, pal.
Yeah. So when we talk about resources that the library has to offer, we often think about databases or books. But one of the other things that is a resource is the people. The staff at the library are a resource as well. And we have many great people at this library. We have librarians, we have non-librarians, but they're people who care about this community. They care about connecting people and information. And that is a big part of who we are. It's not just, here's a bunch of stuff, figure it out yourself. We have people to help you navigate that process and find what you need to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's so important because outside of Google, I think the ability to research is challenging and it's not taught any longer. So to really have people who are here to help you learn what you need to is an incredible asset.
Right. And the thing about Google searches and the internet in general is that's based entirely on algorithm, and it's what a lot of people liked. Mm-hmm. So you're getting the one-size-fits-all Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. At the library, you're getting a more personal touch of what are you personally interested in, and how can I connect you with things that are of personal relevance to you. Mm-hmm. It addresses the person more than just the all.
Right. And that's so helpful and so personalized, again, to our community.
Right.
I know you've talked to me before about all that you're inheriting with this role, and that the big positive of that is the staff that you're inheriting, and how much of a resource our staff really is to this community.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got people who care very deeply about our community. They have a lot of them have worked here for a long time because they understand the value that a library brings, and they too share that desire to have impact and to make people's lives better. So I couldn't ask for a better staff to work with. We have a great asset for our community that we have to just get everybody aware of, get everybody in here and using. And
finally, Tony, what book are you reading right now?
So right now I just started reading The Business of Belonging by David Spinks, and I'm very interested in how you can use community to up the competitive advantage. Obviously, a library, who's your competitor? But it's about making inroads to those different aspects of the community and how to make people actually feel like they're a part of something. Just coming to the library, we're not just a destination. We're a group that you belong to. There's a sense of camaraderie there.
Thanks for joining us for this special episode of the Rockford Public Library podcast featuring our new Executive Director, Anthony Cortez. We're excited for the future of the Rockford Public Library under his thoughtful, community-focused leadership. Be sure to follow along as we continue to grow, serve, and create a place where everyone feels a sense of belonging. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the library.